VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have your favorite shows on VoxWave.com. Check out our lineup. The Kim Show, Mondays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the End We Win with Curtis, Mondays, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Cooking with Flavors with your host, Chef Flavors, Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Impact the World Radio TV Show with Cheryl Woods, Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The Digital Digest with your host, Digital Ace, Wednesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Live Set Wednesdays with your host, Frank Dent, Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. The BGKH Show with your hosts, Dominion and Epic, Wednesdays, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. You, Math, and Me with George Randall, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then, on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m., The Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., The 640 Evening Show, Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Peace in the Morning Show with your host, Darius A. Stanton, co-host, Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen Ayakidobi, Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Hall Street Journal with your host, Robert Hall, and co-host, Clarence Sanders, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Frank, The Success Principles, Friday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Chanel's 3 Cents, Friday, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The Daryl Allen Harrison II Crime Victims Foundation Show, hosted by Daryl Harrison II, every Friday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique, every Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Different Minds Show, hosted by DJ Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, and your co-host, MC Fran, every Friday, 9:15 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. The Healer Blues Show, with host Ron Jackson, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Hour of Power, with your host, Reverend Winters Rogers, every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And again, the Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., Saturday, 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. And don't forget Four Sisters Live Talk, Saturday at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Turning dreams into reality talk show with your host, Tashika L. Green, every second Saturday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Walk in Newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette, Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. News, ULM, news and analysis, information, sports, and black history with your news anchor, Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Step your game up with the Youth Project, hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And don't miss The To Go Show with Kim Brown, Saturdays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I am Dr. Sharon Show, each Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., featuring The Grind, Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, and Write the Book Now. The Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour, every first Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Real Talk 101, Sundays 6 to 8 p.m. And every third Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., the Third Sunday Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson. Gospel Live TV Show with host Gloria Mello, each Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Listen to all your favorite shows on VoxWave.com.
VoxWave.com. VoxWave.com, streaming your favorite jazz, blues, and R&B 24/7.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Time is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't.
Everybody, please share this out with your followers. We're going to have a great show. All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Impact the World. Y'all, why am I always fixing my hair? Is that just like a woman thing? Like, it's like all of a sudden when you see yourself on camera, on screen, right, you cannot help. You just go right into that mode of, let me fix my hair, even though it might be okay. Well, great afternoon. Welcome. Today is, what is today? Tuesday the 10th, something like that. Can you believe we 10 days into the new year already? That's crazy. Like, we just said Happy New Year. Yeah. But anyway, we're here, Impact the World Radio. We are here every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am Cheryl Wood, your host and visionary of this amazing platform. And I just want to thank VoxWave Radio for having us here and allowing us to be in the studio every week so that we can create this amazing platform for men and women. But y'all know I have a special something for my women who are doing it big. So especially for my ladies who are doing it big and impacting the world using their unique gifts, starting businesses, helping other people with their gift. This is a platform that allows them to share that gift, but also it adds value to you, our listening audience. I got to shout out all the folks who are following us on Facebook Live. Let me tell you, you guys showed us so much love last week. We had over 2,200 views last week on our show. And I see we have some folks who are joining us now. I know sometimes you're on your lunch break. Just put your little earbud in, you know what I mean? And just listen to the show. Even if you can't watch the screen, you can really get some good, juicy nuggets. So I got to shout out the folks who are following us on Facebook Live. I'm going to try to scroll back and shout these folks out. Kim Gore, she's always here with us. Such a great supporter. Thank you, sis. Nika Corbett, Courtney Flowers, Charlene Day, Robert Scott, Erica, let's see, Aubrey, Cynthia Green, Margot Watson, Linda Husser. I hope I'm saying that last name right. I be jacking up some names. I'm just saying. You know I do. You already know it. We just met and you know I be jacking up a name, right?
My name is a little difficult, so you get a pass.
Thank you. I appreciate the grace. Minetta Hare, Joan Wilson, that's my corner woman. Cynthia, Lavina, Dawn Peterson. Hey, Khadijah, how are you? Khadijah's here. Karima, we're going to have Karima on the show. She's another phenomenal woman in business. Aubrey Speaks. Maida, I love you, dear. The love expert is in the building. Kimberly Arlington. Author Anika Stewart. Hey, sis, you ready for me? I hope you're ready for me. Kissa Blocker. Laura Basham, and so we have folks who are still coming in. Guys, just hit the little share button so that somebody else can get a part of this amazing, amazing content that we're sharing. I cannot move forward without thanking my sponsors of the show who allow us to be here. I want to thank the amazing...
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and
All right, I was going to try to sing as I always do, but I'm a little hoarse today. I don't know why. I think I need to get me a little herbal tea. Hello, welcome everybody. Today is Wednesday, which means it's time for Impact the World Radio. And we are here with 4 amazing, wonderful women who are truly using their unique gifts to impact and touch the world in a way that nobody else can. You know why? Because can't nobody do what you do the way you do it. Nobody can. They can imitate, but they can't duplicate. Right? That's what you got to remember. They can imitate, but they cannot duplicate. We want to give a huge shout out to everybody who is dialed into voxwave.com, VOXWAV.com, and we want to encourage you to share this out with your tribe and your community. But we also want to give a huge shout out to our folks who are here on Facebook Live. We always get a really large viewing audience on Facebook Live, and we want to encourage you as well to share it out to your audience and your tribe and your network, because don't be selfish. I'm just saying, if you get some good juicy stuff, share it with somebody else. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a variety of things. We're going to be talking about healing. We're going to be talking about running from shame and coming out of hiding from shame. We're going to be talking about serving the world through servant leadership. We have an amazing woman coming on later. But first, we're going to talk about health and wellness. Now, you notice my subject now, right?
I know that's your
this
subject, right?
Look, this is the topic of my household now. This is all we talk about. My husband, I got to share this. My husband, he said something that was so funny. Like, I was dying laughing the other day. So he said he was talking to his mom and his sister and talking about, you know, this new weight journey I'm on or whatever.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, you know, I guess whether we want to or not, all of us going to end up losing weight.
That's how it happens.
Because we don't go out and eat no more. Mm-hmm. She ain't bringing no sodas and fried food in the house no more.
No,
so whether we want to or not, we going to be affected by this thing. We all going to slim down some. And it's true. A lot of things have shifted. I don't try to enforce it on my family yet, but I feel like through my example, I feel like a mother has a whole lot of impact on the household.
You do.
And so we'll talk about that. But let me tell you who's sitting next to me, this amazing woman who has been a part of my journey. I still got these little scars on my arm to show it when we was in there doing, we doing them ropes and stuff. I love them darn ropes. But I love the way she used to push me. So let me tell you who she is. First of all, they call her a firecracker, which she absolutely is. Miss Janice Holloway uses her experience and education to teach and inspire men and women to live their best life. Her spunky attitude and fearless approach to fitness fosters her drive to design diverse workouts that constantly challenge individuals to press toward the mark and reach beyond their limitations. Unlike others in our industry, this fitness-ista,
I know, right? Get it right.
Is not a former athlete, nor has she ever played competitive anything.
Yes, I'm not
Janice
that.
is the total package of training ideals, strength over adversity and imperfections turned into benefits. Having lost, and I didn't know this, 60 pounds herself. Woo-hoo! this self-described foodie. That's why we like each other so much.
We like each other because
and sweets addict.
Still struggling.
Says chocolate is her kryptonite.
Chocolate is my kryptonite.
Personally knows the ups and downs and the pitfalls of weight loss.
Yes.
She understands the feelings of frustration when the numbers on the scale don't reflect the effort. Amen.
Amen.
And is keenly aware of the vicious love-hate relationship existing between mind and body. Yes. I could go on and on with her bio, but let me just tell you, she is here in the building. Drum roll. Mr. Denise Holloway. So you have let me just say thank you.
You're
because
welcome.
you have been very instrumental. You know, it's funny how sometimes people think they're only instrumental in your life when you're accomplishing the results.
Yes.
But that's so not true.
Not true.
Because sometimes they are just planting seeds that will come back to support you.
Yes.
And so you've planted seeds. Natasha Mayo was here last week. She's planted some major seeds in my life. Belinda B. Fit Johnson has planted seeds in my life. There are people who have truly planted seeds, and things that they say to me, I don't forget. And I just wasn't ready at the time.
Exactly, but it all comes together when you're ready.
Comes together. So tell us about all this, 60 pounds?
I did.
And then how did you turn that into this whole passion for teaching other people?
So that's basically kind of like how my story started. So for me, it happened after the birth of my second child. I was working and I was active, and then I decided after the second child I wanted to stay home. Well, when you're pregnant and you're home, you're just eating and laying down. So I ended up picking this weight. Now I have picking up the weight. Now I have a baby and I can't get to the gym.
Yeah.
So now, and I'm always in sweats, so I'm not really realizing I'm gaining weight because sweats are kind of, stretchy. We had moved to a new area. Nobody knew me, so it wasn't like anybody was like, girl, what's going on? Everything okay? Yes. These people don't know me, so as far as they're concerned, they're just used to seeing me this way.
Yes.
It wasn't until, I'll never forget, because we had moved probably about 45 minutes further south. I was in the gym, and one of my former coworkers was in the gym, and I saw someone staring at me, and I'm thinking, I can't know anybody down here. And she walks up to me, and she says, Janice? And I'm like, Courtney? And she was like, and she had gained weight too. And we both just died laughing because we just both knew we had moved down to this country area. Yeah. Nobody knew us. She was staying home too. I was at home, and we just talked about, can you believe the way in which we've let ourselves go? And I was thinking to myself, what you mean let myself go? Who are you talking to me like
about
this?
Yourself,
yeah,
right.
talking about yourself. But it was good that a sister was actually able to be that honest and that bold, because during that time, everybody else just kept saying, you just wait, you're gonna get it back. And you keep thinking you're gonna get it back, but you don't know at the time you're developing bad habits. I developed bad habits of eating bigger portions, because when I was pregnant, I'm so used to now consuming food because I have a baby. I'm eating for two. And then after that, you're still eating for two. Big portions, late at night. You're stressed, you're frustrated. So it just become this emotional, vicious cycle of food was something I was using to comfort myself. I wasn't working anymore. Changed areas, and all shifts in our lives that we go through, we're looking for comfort or something that's stable. And for me, I was finding that in food.
Oh, you just said so much. I mean, that was like a mouthful right there.
I was going to say, but that in and of itself, same thing would happen with you. I decided I wanted to go back to work. And same thing, I hired a trainer. And I didn't lose not 1 pound with the trainer, but let me tell you what he gave me. I will never forget this. Working out with him, like you said, it was little nuggets that he was instilling within me. Trying to be consistent with exercise. Me just getting there was already enough, but I was so living in my head. After the workout would be so tough, I would go and get a hamburger because I was like, oh my God.
I deserve this hamburger.
Because you feel like I deserve, and you're living in this reward system because you feel like I've done this, and you feel like you're being punished by not being able to treat yourself.
You are so my sister.
Yes. So you keep feeling like you're in this vicious cycle of, well, I'm doing all this, and what do you mean I can't eat this? You feel like you're being punished and somebody is withholding. And I didn't have that mind switch until later down the road. And I remember I ended up stopped training with him because I was like, I'm not losing any weight. Nothing's really happening. I'm going to do this on my own. And I hear clients say that all the time. And that is what happened, because at the time you're always looking at the scale and you're looking at you're looking for an easy reward for something you're putting in. You want to see the exchange right then.
Absolutely.
I'm doing this and this is what I expect. And when you don't get that, you're like, I'm going to go back to my bad food boyfriend because he can give me what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're looking for something to soothe you and something, now you're looking to reward yourself again. And that was kind of what happened with me. Didn't lose anything,
it's so true. I mean,
the nuggets.
It's those little seeds that are planted. You never forget. There's certain things that you said to me in the gym
there are certain things that Belinda, I remember Belinda used to always say, Cheryl, you've been doing this for all of 37 seconds. Like, really, you expect the rewards already? You've been doing it for 37 seconds. And I'll never forget that. But I also remember when I was training with you, how strong I felt. Like, I didn't realize I could be so strong. And the missing piece was that I wasn't connecting the food with working out.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it is. Do you agree that it's 80% of it is what you put in your mouth?
Of it is what you put in your mouth. I remember working out with you, and one of the things, and I think too, people are always looking at the weight loss benefit of fitness.
Yeah,
fitness has so many other benefits. And I remember one time you took I think it was a trip, and you said, you know what was so awesome? I didn't get winded walking in the airport. And I said, you gotta celebrate the small victories.
Yes.
If you don't celebrate the small things and you keep always looking for the scale to be a reward, you're gonna get discouraged.
Yeah.
It has to be more than just what the scale is telling me. Be encouraged that I'm doing something for myself. Be encouraged that I feel better. I'm able to move better. I have more energy. I'm not so tired.
Yes.
I can walk without having to sit down and take a break.
Yes.
A lot of the clients that I train, it's not always about, oh, I want to be a size this or this is coming up. You know, those things are nice, but those are the long-term benefits of fitness. The short-term is just having our bodies be able to move and bend and move in the way that we're designed to move. I think it's more unfortunate that when we don't take care of ourselves and then we have to make concessions because we can't move in a certain way, because we don't have the energy to anymore, or we can't participate in certain activities with our families and friends and kids.
That's so true.
You know, I think that's the heartbreaking, and that's the part, unfortunately, what happens is we feel guilty, we feel bad, the shame of it and all those things, and we return to food again.
Yeah, you ain't doing nothing but preaching up in here.
Right.
I remember I saw you in the gym, and I was like, see, and I remember this specifically, and I was like, see, it was a guy who was clearly overweight, right? But he was in there and he was getting it in on the treadmill or the elliptical or whatever. And I was like, see, I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be in here every day, but I'm still not losing weight. And you specifically said, well, everybody's not in here to lose weight. That's what you said to me. You was like, some people are here for their heart health and the other benefits that you get from working out. And I will never forget that, because I did not think of it that way.
Right.
You don't think of it. I think for us, for humans, we connect to things we can see.
Yes.
With the naked eye.
With the naked eye.
Tangibly. We don't think, okay, I'm doing my heart some real good stuff here by being at the gym and by eating healthy.
Or the mental clarity that you have. The mental clarity of, or you just setting, it's almost like prayer. If you're going to set aside time to pray and do that, so the connection for your mind, set aside some time then to give to your body. We do so much stuff for other people all the time. Fitness is one of the very few things that I'm saying, give this to yourself. Give yourself the gift of fitness, you know? Because it has so many more benefits than this, what size you are. I think people get so caught up in my size and my scale and all these things, but they don't think of the other benefits associated with it.
It's true. I'm guilty. I've definitely been guilty, but I do feel, 40, so I just announced, was it today?
Yes,
yesterday, this morning, whatever, last night, that I have officially released 40 pounds. Thank you. Woo, woo, woo. They clap for me in the studio.
Right.
Yes, you better work, as RuPaul says.
Right.
And I still have 60 to go, but I am trying to be in a space where I'm celebrating the 40. One of the things that I actually hired a physician to help hold me accountable and to teach me what to eat, what not to eat. I needed that, right? And I needed the accountability. And one of the things he said to me, because I feel like when you're doing it, you can't see it as much. That's why I put the photos up, because I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I still feel fat. That's literally what I'm saying to myself in the mirror. Like because I still got 60 pounds to release. So I still feel heavy, very heavy, right? Not embracing that you just released 40 pounds off your body. So this is what my doctor told me to do. He said, the next time you go to the grocery store, I want you to pick up either hams or chickens or turkeys, the equivalent of what you just released.
I was just going to tell you that, yes.
And I want you to walk the entire store one time holding, not with a grocery cart, nobody can help you, holding those 40 pounds of whatever it is, ham, chicken,
whatever.
And I want you to really let that sink in to how much you have released from your body.
Yes, from your body.
And I was like, I haven't done it yet, but I plan on doing it this week, probably tomorrow or Friday. And I'm like, that is deep. Like when you really, really think about that.
Because when you really think about what you're carrying.
Yes.
I had a young woman today I was training her early this morning, and she was just saying that she had the surgery, the gastric bypass, and she was just telling me, she was like, you don't realize, I think has lost over 100 pounds now, but she was saying, you don't realize the amount of effort that it takes for you to walk. She was saying a lot of times I lose balance and I fall down because the amount of exertion that I use to walk, and I don't have to use that exertion anymore just to move my body. So that's what I'm saying, movement, what you're taking advantage of. While you have the ability to move, move, because it is a gift from God, and He has given it to us. And if we don't take advantage of that now, while we have that, we keep thinking we have time, we have time, we have time. We don't have time. It's a short window of time, and as we age, the knees go, the back go, the body goes, the shoulder goes. But while you have time and nothing's physically wrong with you, that's why I always ask clients, is something physically wrong? Or, because you want to know. But when most of them come in, they say, oh, no, I got great knees, I got a great back. No, I don't have no shoulder issues. I'm like, so you're just not moving because you're not moving. They're like, well, when you put it that way, because you have the ability to. There are some people that are restricted, but if you have the ability to move, and it's not always about fitness, be active. Because some people just don't want to be, feeling like they're working out. I get that. But my whole thing is, if this isn't your thing, find your thing. Find your tribe of people. Your thing. Find your thing. Find your tribe, and make that what your mantra is going to be for yourself. I
love that. I want to give a shout out to the family of Sid, and I can't remember Sid's last name, but we call him Sid, the security guy. And he used to come to all of the eWomen Network meetings, and I just saw a terrible post yesterday that he passed away. He was like the only male who used to come to all the eWomen Network events. He was always there, nicest guy, and passed of coronary disease, right? And so when you talk about that, the importance of moving and the importance of using what you have while you have it, it really is, it's so important. My dad passed of a massive heart attack in his sleep at 59 years old. So you got to really, really, like you said, be grateful and be thankful for what you have. Let's talk about the different types of exercise, because I know you are, like, you're current. You're a trailblazer. Like, you do the TRX thing.
That's my thing.
She has her own brick and mortar shop, Johnny Boy Fitness. Right in Clinton, Maryland. And I came in, I saw all this stuff hanging. I was like, what we going to do? Some different kind of stuff up in here. So talk about the importance of movement and the different types of movement and, all the options that people have other than just running on a treadmill.
Yes, of course. Okay, so my thing, I think that's the problem. I think people always think of, when they think of fitness, of running and moving on a treadmill. Fitness is, at this point, they have everything you want to, whatever your thing is, you can find it, your tribe in the fitness community. I would say for me, I prefer strength training. So that's my thing. I prefer the strength training. So I teach TRX. I also do kettlebells.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
I actually enjoy the kettlebells.
The kettlebells are cool. Kettlebells are cool. And I'm Pilates certified. So I'm going to talk about all those, and then I'm going to just talk about the different components of it. I'm going to speak from the Pilates aspect first, because I think a lot of the clients that I usually train are about 50 and older. And most people have arthritis, or they have something going on in their body that may prevent them from doing some of the other, jumping around type of things, just because hips. But the things that we can do with Pilates or yoga or sometimes a Tai Chi, moving around and just the movement of our body. A lot of people, they run or they may walk, or they're just like, oh, well, I'm active. I park my car, I walk. Those aren't our hips.
I walk from the parking lot to the grocery store
from the parking lot
to get that fried chicken.
To get that fried chicken, all those things. People use active in so many different ways. I'm sure all the trainers out there know what I'm talking about. So I would say the Pilates is great because it helps strengthen your hips. Hips are usually very weak. A lot of times if you get down on the floor and you just start trying to see if you can do it like a leg lift, open and close, and the hip is on the side. So like a lot of times when people do it the first time, they go, ooh, and I'm like, there's not even no weight on it. That's your hip. That's your body. You should at least be able to move your hips. Your own hips without any weight. We do circles, so forward circle, back circle, and we just do it in a different variation of ways. That's Pilates. I also teach balance exercises if anybody's at home and you're trying to figure out how can I train balance. Single leg things, just seeing if you can just stand on one leg, do a focal point, because balance kind of, when people fall, one of the things they always are breaking are their hips, and because they've lost balance. So balance is key as we start to age, just being able to keep our balance, learning how to stabilize our knee, stabilize your leg and your glute. Okay, so those are exercises for people that are just beginning. You know, you could be at any age, but most of the people that come to my classes at that age, their doctor has already then told them at this point, you know, it'd be really good for you to practice movement exercises, and that's where Pilates and balance and yoga kind of comes in. All right, strength training stuff, just because, you know, we lose muscle and it's great to build muscle. Yeah. We can lose weight, but sometimes if we lose weight, we still wonder, well, I still don't have the shape that I want, or I don't have the body that I want. I'm still kind of flabby in different places. Well, that's because you weren't building in the muscle. Think of it like a balloon. So balloon is, you know, it's already expanded, right? But as we lose weight, the air starts to build out of the balloon. So as the air builds out of the balloon, now the balloon's just hanging and saggy. So that's sometimes our skin. Now, if we want to build that to kind of keep the skin solid so that it doesn't have the sag, you want to replace that with muscle. Got it.
Now I have a question about that.
Sure.
So let's say that so right now I'm not strength training. So my physician says, you know, hey, for now, for this early phase, this first phase,
he just wants you to lose.
He wants me to lose,
yes.
right? I love strength training.
Yes.
Like, I used to be over with the big boys,
yes.
over in the real equipment, not the machine.
I understand. That's
the real equipment,
yes.
right?
Right,
okay,
right.
So I'm gonna get back there.
I'm that girl. Yeah, I know.
But my question is, let's say that things are kind of saggy right now. Can I firm that back up?
Well, this is the thing with that. A lot of times what people find is after they've already lost the weight and then they're already kind of then have the skin and they go back in, they're just kind of like, oh my goodness, because you let it go for so long. So I would say at a certain point, even if you're not doing heavy weight, start lifting something. So you don't have to be back over with the big boys again, but you can still pick up a dumbbell or something so that you can start building the muscle component. I like to do them both at the same time. That's my preference, just because as you're building and losing at the same time, I like when clients start to see oh my gosh, it's, you know, it's starting to come together. It's not as saggy, because sometimes what happens is once it gets, you know, the balloon goes all the way down, and then when you're holding up your arm and then you have all of that skin hanging down,
you all up in my business.
Yeah, but you go through another level of, I lost the weight and I still can't show my arms. I lost the weight and I'm still in hiding.
That's what I don't want to deal with. I absolutely do.
So I think, you know, people lose the weight and then they get small, but then they still can't show the work because they're like, I have all this sag.
That's it.
So that's the thing.
And the hard part about that is that you and this is just truth, like transparency. The hard part is that you so desperately want to see the numbers on the scale.
You want to see, I know.
And you know, once you start lifting those weights, that's going to be a little bit, sometimes a little, but you can, but there's a balance to it because you have to figure out, you know, losing weight is one aspect of it and maintaining the weight is something else. You know, you can lose, you know, I can lose weight. The problem is my body doesn't like it. My body, in order for me, like, I like myself at an ideal weight, right? Now, when I do that, that means I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I'm doing cardio. I'm eating, you know, I've restricted my diet. Unfortunately for me, I'm the type of girl, I'm not going to be able to maintain that. So when I go back to what I'm able to maintain with my family, running my business and just running my real life, I can really get in the gym realistically maybe 3-4 times a week if that's good. My diet, you know what? Because I like going out to eat. And I know I'm going to have some bad days. And I know I'm going to be going out with my girlfriends and doing that thing. So realistically, when I get down to that small magic number that everybody has in their mind when they say, I got to be down to here. When you get down to that number, that's your weight loss goal. Now you got to see what you can maintain. That's so
See, my body can't maintain that doing all those things that I'm doing. My body can maintain probably that additional where I don't want to be, where I look at the scale and go, dang, I'm there again. My body can maintain that number basically with 3 days a week, cheat meal here, going out with my real life, with my real schedule. My body can maintain that.
And that's exactly what my goal is. That's one thing I said to my husband and my kids. I'm like, you know, right now I'm in the early phase of I want to release the weight.
Yes,
but
I understand.
I do not want to live my life where I can never have a piece of bread. I can't have an occasional piece of pizza because we out on the weekend. Like, I want to be able to, like you said, find the space where I can
find
maintain.
the space.
Yeah,
so right now you're in weight loss.
Yes.
Right. So that's the thing. People, but you can't live your life in weight loss space.
Right. And I don't want to.
And you don't want to. Right.
But
what happens is people lose the weight and they're like, okay, I was able to do that because you have a goal. So your mind is so fixed on the goal. But what happens after you meet the goal? What happens after they meet the goal? They meet the goal and then they're struggling and they start beating themselves up because they can't hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? And then the pound starts coming up and then they're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's going to happen to me again. No. Certain things, yes, we have a goal for ourselves. But for me, even the goal I set for myself every time, you know, I said it if I have something that may be my ideal, what I quote unquote like. My body doesn't like that. And she's just like, yeah, we can do that, but the amount of effort that I have to put in to keep that, realistically, I'm just not there.
But I love the way you articulated that. You worded it perfectly. There's the weight loss goal, but then there's the maintenance goal.
There's the maintenance goal, yes.
Hey, I can maintain
this I can
thing.
Maintain
realistically
this.
With my lifestyle.
Realistically with my lifestyle, I'm able to maintain a certain weight, and I fluctuate between, 3 to 4 pounds, give or take.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I always say weight loss is a different mindset than maintenance. Got it. So
That's
your
so
weight
good.
loss, people take that weight loss mindset into maintenance, and they get discouraged because they can't keep checking back into the, you can check in, but it gets harder and harder because you're going back through the, I can't eat this, and then you're going through the sabotage of, well, I've done all this, and now I've lost all this weight, and I still can't have a slice of pizza on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to just figure out the best lifestyle for yourself. I think you'll have you'll have a much better success rate because then you're still living and you figured out, I can work out, I can eat clean, I may be able to have a cheat day here and something here, you know what I'm saying? For me, I like chocolate. So I figured out, I know, I'm so proud of myself. I figured out a way. I have figured out a way where I can still have my chocolate and a little bit of treat here and there and still be able to feel like, okay, I'm not being punished, you know what I'm saying? So, but I figured out different, it's a certain, for me, it doesn't have to be, I have to have a hint of the chocolate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have to feel like, okay, I can get the chocolate and I can get this. So, I may do it like, twice a week or something like that.
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is this really is a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle
Like when they say it's a lifestyle change, it's real. Like
it's
you have
real.
to adjust to.
You have to
I'm not going
adjust
to just indulge like I used to anymore.
No,
I mean, them
anymore.
cheesy biscuits.
Don't even
Woo,
talk about
let me not talk about it.
I know, because then,
I'm
girl,
getting
you
the
have
sweat.
to, I know you get the sweats. I know you
Them
start
Red
thinking
Lobster
about
cheesy biscuits. Hey, I said the first time I could have a piece of bread, that's where I'm going. Red Lobster get me a cheesy biscuit. But it used to be 3 or 4 cheesy biscuits, and then we'd be like, and can you give us a dozen to take home?
Right.
Like, it was so bad. So I'm celebrating the growth and the progress, but it is a lifestyle change. Well, I mean, you've been phenomenal. The advice that you've given has been wonderful. I've taken a lot away.
Oh, good.
I love what you do. I love everything that you stand for and represent. She be looking so cute in the gym. I just be looking like one day, that's going to be, I push my little, wait a minute. And this one, she be on like an incline of like 12. 12.0 on the treadmill. Her treadmill, the highest treadmill in the whole, like she on a mountain.
Right.
I'm like, really, Janice? You gotta show us up. Meanwhile, I'm on 1.5. I'm like, one day, I'm coming for you, Janice. But you have inspired me. You have certainly empowered me through our personal training sessions that we've done. I never forget it. I'm coming back. I'm coming back for more. I just gotta, I'm trying to keep the mind right first. And I'm like, all right, and then when I'm ready to go hard, then I'm coming hard. I'm coming for you. So, because I miss my TRX and my. I remember when you had me do the running from side. I was like squatting down from side, and I had to pick the weight up and go back to the other side and drop it. And then we did the little burpees, the little and the Bisu balls, all of that. Bosu ball. I remember all of that.
Bosu ball to your burpees.
Yes. So I literally enjoy working out.
Yes.
I just needed to add in the food component so that I could actually see results. And now we're seeing results. I keep it going. I'm going to hit 45 this year, and I'm trying to make sure I've released 100 pounds by my birthday in December for the big 45. But more importantly than that, my husband is turning 50 in December.
Okay.
And I got to be fine for his birthday party. It ain't even about my party. His birthday party. No, I got to be fine to stepping up in his birthday party. I'm just saying, I got my priorities right.
Right, completely.
So how can people connect with you, especially if they're local and they want to come by and they want to come to the shop? Are there certain class dates and times they can find out about?
Okay, so local people, they can find me. I'm on Instagram. Everything's under Johnny Boy Fitness. So it's JOHNNIE. Boy is BOI.
And where's the name come from?
Fitness. Oh, the name comes from, I'm the youngest of 3 girls, so my daddy had 3 girls, and he always wanted a boy, and he assumed that the last one, his last ditch effort was going to be a boy. So he always called me Johnny Boy. I was the boy he never had. And his name was John, so he named me after him. Yes, that's where Johnny is from. Yes.
I love that story.
Yes, so that's the Johnny Boy. So the website is also the same thing. It's johnnyboyfitness.com. The boy, again, is BOI. So that's johnnyboyfitness.com. And it's on Facebook, same thing, johnnyboyfitness.com.
So connect with her all across social media. If you're in the DMV, come by, come to a class, get your workout on, do something new, do something different.
Yeah,
she got the
spice up
ropes,
your
she got
workout.
classes. Yeah.
Yes,
and
spice up your
you're just so
workout.
cute. You know, she cute to look at. You know, when she'd be up there with her little yoga pants, and you looking at the little booty, you be like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this. You be lifting, make you lift a little bit harder.
I'm like, get down there, squat it out, girls. Let's squat it out.
Right, but I love it. And your mom comes to the gym.
Yes, she does.
Almost,
she comes
like
every
day.
My mom comes in. Yes, my mom comes in my morning classes, and she brings her gang of girls too.
Yes. So everybody getting fit together. I love it.
That's,
well, thank you for being an inspiration and a source of encouraging women, especially. I'm going to speak to women, for us getting our health and our wellness in order, and understanding that it's not just the tangible and the physical look, but it is your heart, it is your mind, your clarity, as you mentioned.
All of it.
Everything.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
So you heard it here. Make sure you check her out, johnnyboyfitness.com, and Johnny Boy Fitness all across social media. We're going to take a brief break, and we're going to be back with our next guest, Miss Robin Rogers.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see you say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder.
Playtime is over. We are giving a huge shout out to Tammy Turner, who wrote, produced, and performed that song at the Playtime is Over annual Women's Business Conference in November. And we have just taken that on as our anthem here because Playtime is over. Y'all know you got to get into high gear to impact the world with your unique gifts. Hey, before I introduce my next guest, I want to thank our Platinum partners for being supporters of this show, because without them, we would not be here. Our Platinum partners, Cherie M. Good, who is gearing up in just, 4 days for her 8th annual Recharge Health, Wellness, and Fitness Expo. 8th, y'all. 8 years of serving the community, no cost. Like, you can come totally free, bring your whole family. You can work out. You can get education about your health, your wellness. You can get your blood pressure, free screenings. Like, I mean, they have everything there. They have people who do allergy testing, and they teach CPR. I mean, it's amazing. So you can still get in on this. It's Saturday, April 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Pikesville, Maryland. And you can go and you can register, again, for free. RechargeNow2018.eventbrite.com. Also, Ladrine Peterson is one of our platinum partners. She's a career and business strategist who's passionate about inspiring and helping others to optimize and implement their ideas. And if you know Ladrine, or if you don't know her, you need to know her. You need to look her up. But she's fiery. She's almost like Janice, firecracker. She's a firecracker. She's always high energy, always very positive, and I love that about her. And you want to visit her at do-it-delivers.com. And then we have our two goal partners, Amina McWhirter, who's the founder of Love by the Handles. I have got to give her a huge shout out. Yes. She just celebrated her 5th year anniversary. Awesome. Yeah, we can shout it out. Yeah, we clap it up. She just celebrated 5 years of her nonprofit organization, and I love that she is already looking to what she's going to accomplish in the future. She says, our name, Love by the Handle, is going to be mentioned in the same sentences as Goodwill and Dress for Success. And I love people who have a vision of where they're going. So she's doing amazing community work. She serves individuals in transition within the Washington, D.C. area. She provides for the homeless. She provides for women who are transitioning out of domestic violence situations. And she's a servant leader. Like, she's a really, really just powerful person in her own right, doing amazing community work through this 501c3 nonprofit community-based organization. So Love by the Handles, you can check her out at lovebythehandles.org. And of course, I have to say that I felt blessed to be at her 5th year anniversary celebration, her benefit dinner. And I was honored with the very first Liz Award that she gave out. And Liz is representative of her grandmother, Elizabeth, who has passed. But she said that this award she's going to give once a year. And it's going to be to someone who inspires her and who she feels is living life intentionally and zealously. And so I was the first recipient of this amazing, beautiful award. You can check it out and see it on Facebook and all my social media platforms. But thank you, Amina, for recognizing me and the impact that I've had in your life. And it was great to meet Amina's mom and her son. And I already know her daughter, Jocelyn, who's been here on the show, but just phenomenal woman. And then, last but not least, and she's actually a guest in the studio today, another gold partner, Miss Robin Rogers, who is sitting right here to my left. She's a lifestyle and image expert who helps women to develop greater self-confidence and reflect that confidence through inner and outer image. She empowers women to enjoy a transformed lifestyle despite life-changing trauma and transition. You can check her out at robinrogersempowers.com, and she is gearing up in just a few months for her Whole Woman Symposium taking place on September 8th. The lineup is amazing from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Here's the website. If somebody could type this in. Thank you, Lakeisha. I want to thank her and Magani Osei for typing these websites in on the feed for Facebook. RobinRogersEmpowers.com, but you can learn more about the Whole Woman Symposium right here in the local DMV at the www.2018.eventbrite.com. The www.2018.eventbrite.com. And without further ado, I'm going to bring that gold partner right in. I'm going to introduce her. Miss Robin Rogers is an inner healing image strategist. She's a CEO and founder of Robin R. Empowers LLC and a licensed hairstylist for over 30 years. As a licensed hairstylist, she takes pride in providing outstanding customer service to her clients. She's an all-around encourager and motivational speaker, and she shares strategies and expertise at conferences, workshops, and one-on-one coaching, helping women to heal their lives from the root of trauma and abuse, discover their value, and live their lives through their own core values as they pursue their purpose. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I have to say, you're looking mighty skinty today.
Yes.
So what you been doing since we continued that conversation of fitness? What you been doing with yourself?
Well, I made a point this year was going to be the year that I took care of myself.
Yeah.
My health as well as my mental capacity. Mm-hmm. So I started the journey with working out, changed how I ate,
yes,
and included massages.
You better do it now. Yes. I got to get to that point. I got to really, for me, so the way I'm wired, I'm kind of high strung and I like to be on the move. So for me, being in the gym is just a natural. But for me, the hard part is slowing down.
Oh my God.
Slowing down, sitting down, relaxing, because I'm always thinking in my mind, there's something else I should be or could be doing. So I'm going to incorporate that. That's one of my goals. In fact, one of our partners and I consider her a good friend, Ladrine Peterson, blessed me with a spa certificate to go to the Gaylord. I haven't been yet.
Oh
Girl, don't hurt a sister, but I'm going to make it. the summer is coming up. The kids will be home. You know, I can go. But like, look, I'll be back. Mama be back. I'm gonna be gone for several hours and go take care of me.
I found out that the massages aid in weight loss. Because your body is releasing toxins.
I love it. And well, we want that. I'll be signing up for that ASAP. So that really just extends the conversation about what you do, really teaching women how to heal themselves, how to better themselves internally and externally, because I think we should not just look great, but we should feel great inside. So talk about how you got started in this work and just kind of give us background and about your story and why you decided to do this particular thing for women.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much.
Of course.
For having me here on the show, not only on the show, but as my coach.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that later. How I got started, pretty much just wanted to take better care of myself, but just a little bit of background. I got started from an event that I attended in 2013. That event you happened to be at. And I believe the event was hosted by Natasha Mayo, and it pretty much was a health and wellness event.
That's right. Yeah. See, we shouting you out, Natasha.
Yes. So anyway, getting started at that particular event, there was a lot going on. It wasn't just about nutrition.
Right.
We also had exercises that we did, one namely revealing the mask or removing the mask. That particular incident was very major for me because during that time, I was just going through a divorce and was really trying to reclaim who I was and what it is that I wanted to do. So I had the opportunity to meet you there, as well as a lot of other phenomenal women.
Where we eating that quinoa. That's what I was talking about when Natasha was here last week. Y'all was eating that. I was like, really? Y'all had no burgers and fries up in here? It was just quinoa and smoothies.
Which was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
I'm going to take your word for it because I wasn't in that mindset. I wasn't in that mindset yet. I was like, what are they eating?
It took a while to get adjusted to the quinoa too. But
yes.
So from that particular event, I just was exposed to transition in my own life. And it was, like I said, it was very major. The event not only was one day, it was 3 days. And over that period of time, that was the first time in over 10 years that I had really taken the time out for myself, slow down, get away from the salon, and just wanted to make the investment in myself. From that particular investment, it grew. I then began to invest in coaching, as well as talking to some of the women that had been talking to me about how I transitioned. And what they were talking about, the transition that I was making was from, as I said, being married for 30 years.
Wow.
But at that time, it was 21 years.
Yeah.
And we were 9 years on paper before I filed the divorce. So it was a lot going on at that particular time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I still had 2 kids at home. And I knew that I needed to do something to transition from where I was.
Right.
So I just began to go to different events, attend conferences, and just talk to different women about where they were. And during that particular time, there was a lady on Facebook. She started speaking. And I'm like, this sounds like something I wanted to do. And as a result of that, I began watching you. I began to watch Natasha, as well as a couple other women. And that's how I got started.
Yeah. So that's amazing because it's a reminder that there's so much, there's such a big message in your mess, right? And sometimes you're going through stuff and you're just like, you don't understand why you're going through it. When you're going through it, you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out who you are in the midst of it when things shift. And I know because we've had conversations and this is my second marriage. So I was married before and divorced. And I know what divorce did to me because when I said I do, it meant forever for me. I was like, it's forever. And it didn't play out that way. And it was of no fault of my own. I didn't make it happen, but the person didn't want to be in the space anymore. So what can you do except accept that and then grow you personally so that you understand? Yeah.
That's really profound that you said that because that's where I was. My then husband, no bashing him because we're friends now, but he decided to leave. And at that point, I was really at my lowest. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is a husband. We had kids together, 21 years at the time. And he just one day left for work and didn't come back.
Yeah.
So that was pretty hard. And I began to beat up myself. It felt like, rejected.
Yes.
It was a lot going on.
Yeah. And that can absolutely take you to your lowest of low, especially when you for me, I came from a very religious background. So I put everything into doing things the right way, living life the right way, and, being who I thought God says you should be, and feeling like that was going to produce what I should get in life. And the reality is that's just not very realistic. It's like, at the time though, you couldn't tell me that. Now I've matured and made it through that situation and grown. But at the time, it just felt almost like I was like, okay, I was blaming God. Did you go through any phase where it was like, why is this happening to me? Or did you play the blame game with yourself? Or what did you experience? And then how did you start coming out of that? Because I think that's what we want people to take away is that, yeah, you can be at your lowest of low. You can be in that dark moment, but there's always a way out.
Of course, everybody else was to blame except for me.
Right, right.
Everybody, even my husband, he was to blame. I didn't take any responsibility into what happened. I blamed my childhood, back then, sexual assault, molestation, and rape. I blamed all of that to where I was. Once I made the transition, I remember 8 years, maybe 13 years ago, God had asked me a question, whose image are you wearing? But he asked that question again 3 years ago. And that's when I began doing the work.
So then what happened with the blame?
Well, I went through a process of looking at me. How did we get here? How do you go from 21 years of marriage and then you go, and I'm thinking about something else as I'm talking. I pretty much just blame myself, and how I've transitioned from that, I immersed myself in the Word. And I began to eliminate processes of people that were in my circle that pretty much held me to think it was his fault. And I'm like, this just didn't happen overnight. This was a process.
Yeah.
So when I began to look at the process and I began to look at myself, I made a decision. And from that decision, I started transitioning into going out to different events, stopped going to everything that was pertaining to church. That's the only circle that I had. And when I transitioned out into speaking engagements, seeing you, I watched Natasha for about a year. And this was prior to her event. And once I saw some of the things she was doing, that's when I got out. And I met you.
Yeah.
But I found out about you at the library.
Right.
So
oh my God, that brings back memories. Yes.
This was pretty much a setup. Because
yes.
when I saw Natasha.
A divine setup, y'all. Hashtag divine setup.
So when I saw Natasha, she didn't know me.
Right.
But I watched her for a period of 7 months. And because I knew of her through my pastor, he began to point her out about the great job she did about losing weight. At the time, I was about 200 pounds.
Wow.
But I continued to eat emotionally. And I didn't make the transition, but I didn't realize it was emotional eating.
Yes, yes. You just said so many powerful things in your testimony here. I mean, one, just not blaming everybody else and really just acknowledging perhaps what role you played or whatever. For me, with the whole divorce thing, it was I had to accept responsibility for a decision that I made way too young. So I got my first marriage, I was straight out of high school. I was 18 years old. What do you know at 18, right? And so I had to accept responsibility for, you made that decision, Cheryl. Exactly. God didn't make you make that decision. You made that decision. So I think, yes, releasing all of that stress and that anger of blaming everybody else and just, realizing sometimes things happen. Sometimes it's a bad decision that you made. Sometimes it's something that you didn't nip in the bud, or you might have had a part in it that you could have shifted or played out differently, whatever. But releasing it, I think, is so, so, so important. And then you said another thing that was powerful, which was expanding your circle. Like some of y'all got to get out of the toxic circle you are in right now. And I don't care where you found them from. Sometimes you need to get rid of them. You need some people who celebrate you, some people who love on you, people who are always encouraging you to keep growing and expanding. So sometimes you got to expand your circle. So I love that. Very powerful. So then once you start going through kind of this transformation and you started going to different events and expanding your circle, what do you feel, was there any, what was was there one big thing that shifted you? Like I know you met Natasha and you started meeting different people, but were there other things that like you can encourage someone else? Where would you encourage them to start if they're trying to transition out of a mess, whether it's divorce or something else, but what would you encourage them to do? What's some steps?
Let me say this first. In doing that, I constantly had women that were looking to me, and that was the image that they saw of me in church. And they were transitioning from relationship issues, or they were going through some other thing, maybe something with their finances or something like that. So as I began to sit down and analyze the things that brought me to where I was, I started to look into how other people saw in me things that I didn't see. So as I looked at this and continued to listen to Whose image are you wearing? That's when I started doing the work.
And what kind of feedback did you get when you were, basically surveying and seeing what other people saw in you? What were some things that they saw that you didn't see?
You look different. What are you doing? The weight started to come off. I wasn't where I wanted to be.
Right.
But I had started unintentionally doing things differently. I was paying more attention to my mindset, what I was thinking, who I was around.
Yeah.
By default, some people fell off.
Right.
And then others, I just had to let go.
Yeah, I love that. By default, some folk gonna fall off because everybody doesn't have the capacity to go where you're going, and you cannot expect everybody to go where you're going. And what I learned big, and maybe you can talk to this, is stop banging on that door, that one door that you just want. You want that relationship so bad, and God is trying to slam that door shut because He knows that's not good for you. But you just, oh no, God, I want that relationship.
And that's where one of the key things for me, I saw that there were two people in particular that I really was drawn to, but they weren't drawn to me. But I tried to create that space where I could do things where I could be noticed with them.
Yeah.
And then that was another thing. I'm looking like, what does this need from?
Yes.
And that stemmed again from some things in my childhood.
Yes.
So when I began to look at that, that was really ugly. It was painful.
Yeah.
But I just began to just do the internal work in terms of reading about what I was dealing with. Okay, I was molested. So I read about that and some of the things associated with it. It was just little things.
Yeah.
But the exposure of a different circle helped a lot.
I love that. The exposure of a different circle. Everybody's typing in, expand your circle. Thank you, Johnny Mack is here. Thank you, Andrea Martin, for being here. Nikki, thank you so much for being here. Let's see, Lakeisha, thanks for being here. Please share this out because this is some really powerful information because a lot of us, first of all, let's not say a lot of us, all of us go through something in life where you go through some kind of trauma or drama or mess that we can either fall victim to or we can become a victor and stand on the power of that story and the lessons that we learned through that. Yes.
Words was powerful too. Vicki Johnson had a segment on AM radio, 6:55 every morning. I would race to my car. It was called I'm Every Woman. And I would listen to that broadcast, and it was like things that God had spoke to me. She was speaking in that message. So those words carried me through. And then when I began to study myself, I'm like, I'm more than enough. I'm more than a conqueror. I can do all things. Greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. So I just began to speak and study, and then I got attached with you. Woo, that was a process. I remember when we had the event with Natasha, and I sat next to you for a period, and just seeing you speak, and I'm like, God, she's so energetic. And I'm like, I feel this inside, but why am I not able to duplicate that? God gave you a gift, and He gave me a gift. I wasn't duplicating that because that was your gift wasn't my gift.
Absolutely.
So let's just let that go. And I think it was maybe 2 years later, I inquired of your services. I couldn't afford it. It was a year later I inquired. It was 2 years later when we connected. And through the process of you helping us develop a story, I was shaking. I was like, I can't do this. I still didn't have that belief system. But when I changed the belief system and I just did it, things began to change and my circle changed.
I remember so vividly our conversations and our, which I won't get into, but I do remember specifically very vividly one day I was like, we got to narrow down what your real story is. Because you were still trying to talk about the hair and the external stuff. And I was like, all of you who are my clients and you've seen me, I'll say, I hear you, but I don't feel you. And I will tell you that, right? Andrea Martin will tell you that. Myra will tell you that. Amy will tell you that. I hear you, but I don't feel you. But I never want to force a story on anybody. And I never want to force them out of the direction they feel they should be going, right? That's not my job. But I just kept saying, I feel like it's something else. And then that's when we started talking about the divorce. And I felt like it was God opening you up to say, this is a safe space to be vulnerable.
But I didn't want to share it.
But you did.
But I did.
Yes. And once you did, it was just like, I'm telling you, a shift happened. You know how you said people started seeing a shift in you? It was like this shift happened. And all of a sudden, it's like you had all this clarity, and I started seeing you making moves. And I'm like, the next thing I know, she's speaking, and the next thing I know, you're doing your own conference, and now you're on your second conference, right? And I'm like, wow, like all of that because you asked God, you prayed to God for clarity, and to place you in the circles you needed to be. But then you were open enough. You had an open mind and open heart.
The first conference last year is where the major shift took place. And that was the sexual assault conference. April is Sexual Awareness Month.
Yes.
So I partnered with another young lady, Evelina Dawson, and we did this particular event. It sold out. And when I shared my story, it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yes, yes. Well, I love seeing you soar. I love seeing you just take risks and continue playing all out. I'm loving this whole woman symposium. I'm super excited for all the women who are going to be blessed to be a part of that. How can people connect with you, reach out to you if they want to know more about your services, or if they just need coaching, or do you provide that? Let's ask that. Talk about that. What services you provide and how people can connect with you.
You can reach me, as she mentioned, www.robinrogersempowers. That's EMPOWERS.com. You can also reach me on all social media, Robin M. Rogers, Robin Empowers. As far as the event that's taking place on September the 8th, the website you can go to is the www.2018.eventbrite.com. As far as the coaching, I'm not doing one-on-one coaching, but I am working on something right now that will be released in 2 months.
Now.
And it's going to be a group event, so you'll hear more about that once it's released.
I love it. Well, I love what God is doing through you, in you, for you, all of that. And I love what you are then taking and giving back to impact other people's lives, because that inner healing is deep. External is one thing, and I love that you all beautified and skinty looking and everything. I love that, and that you give other women the confidence by what you do through your hairstyling and all that kind of stuff. But that inner healing, ooh, that thing is deep, because we have some women who are bruised and battered, and they need to get up. Like, some of them are just still laying down, and we've got to help them to heal and move forward and have that spirit of resilience and understand that what you've been through, yes, it is not for you.
That's it.
And when you start talking about it, that's when you profess to the world, I went through it. It was about me, but it's not for me. It's not for me. And that's the power that all of us hold if we will just open up and share our truth. And it can be hard, and it can be scary, and people have their own judgments. And, sometimes we don't want to share certain parts of our story because perhaps we feel like we're going to hurt other people's feelings, but it's your truth.
That's it.
It's your truth. It's your story. And I don't want nobody else telling my truth and my story but me, because I know it firsthand. So thank you for opening up and sharing your truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being one of our partners of the show. Can we give it up for Miss Robin Rogers, who is impacting the world and changing lives? Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you connect with her, guys. Thanks so much for being here, Roz Jones. Thanks, Joyce, for being here. Jewel Lee, thank you guys so much for being here. Please share this out. This is great information about inner healing. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with our next guest, Miss Amy Taylor.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy, and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear, but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough, and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over.
Y'all know what it is. Playtime is over. Again, we're shouting out Tammy Turner for writing, producing, and performing that song for our annual Playtime is Over Women's Business Conference. And we have claimed that as our anthem right here at Impact the World Radio. So this next lady who is our guest is so special to me. She has truly come out of her shell. I remember when we met, I was like, okay, you way in the back of the room, real quiet. But she was one of the people who was ready to take action. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Amy Taylor is an inspirational speaker with a life purpose of helping women live a life that is free of shame. What do you call yourself?
The Shame Eliminator.
The Shame Eliminator, baby. As CEO of Amy Taylor Inspires, she knows how important it is to build meaningful relationships. She's always had a passion for hosting intimate gatherings as her way of bringing women together for personal development, networking, and relaxation. As a woman of faith, Amy has overcome her own obstacles and difficulties, which she shares to encourage others. She knocks on the door of your heart by providing you with space and courage to be vulnerable, and her infectious smile and lightened spirit lift everyone in her presence. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm just super excited. You cheesing, I'm cheesing. So look, I always like for people to share their story because, you know, I'm a huge proponent of your story is about you, but it's not for you.
Yes.
So share with us your story and how you got into this space of being the Shame Eliminator.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me, Coach Cheryl. It means the world, and at the end, I'll tell you why it means the world.
Awesome.
But, so, you know, it all started, I found you on YouTube.
Wow.
You know, like Robin, for me, I was just searching. I knew that I needed something, but I didn't know what that something was. And so one day, I think I typed in the word inspiration, and you came up. And immediately when I heard your voice, and your story, I mean, like I was at a command to just sit there, so every day at work, I'm sitting in my 8x10 cubicle.
Amen. Amen. I know the cubicle life.
Yes, but I'm still listening to you because my soul just needed to be fed.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I really like this lady. And so I kept listening to you, kept following you, kept listening to you, and then one day you was having a boot camp or something, and so I asked my sister, I said, listen, I've got to meet her. I need her to know who I am. And so I signed up, and my sister had come with me to the conference, and then you invited us back for the boot camp. And it was at that boot camp, I knew that I needed more. And you know how sometimes, and I hope you understand this, sometimes you need something, but you don't really know what you need until you get it.
Yeah.
That's how it was. I really didn't know what I needed until you were able to coach with me. And that was just so important for me because I remember the day that I was there and the Holy Spirit was just tapping on my shoulder saying, the moment is now. And I can remember, I mean, I was in tears. I was crying. I couldn't get it together. This feeling was in me. And dumbly, she must have felt something because she pulled me to the side and she prayed with me.
Wow.
I was a hot mess, as you say. I was a mess. And that was because, and at the time, I didn't even know it was shame. I was draped in shame. I was covered in shame. Shame was just all in me. And I didn't realize it was shame. I knew I was in hiding, but I didn't realize that it was shame.
You just said so many powerful things in that statement, those few statements. I mean, first of all, the power of showing up. And I keep telling people all the time, it's like,
a lot of your blessings are wrapped in you showing up. And sometimes you don't know exactly what you need from that space, but if God is directing you, you need to move. And so showing up is powerful. Don't sit at home. Don't hope that it's going to fall into your lap, what you need, because it's not. You got to go out and find it. It's waiting for you. And then you also spoke volumes because you said Domily recognized something that was happening in your spirit and pull you to the side. And that is key for making sure you got the right people in your circle. We just had that conversation, right? And with our last guest, with Robin, about making sure the right people are in your inner circle. You have got to be protective of your space. So for me, I'm very protective of who's in my space, because I know I'm looking for divine connections. I'm looking for divine orchestration of everything that I do. And if it ain't a fit, I'm not forcing that thing. What we say, like, stop trying to bang down the doors that God's trying to close. He's trying to slam it. You're like, no, God, I want that. I want that relationship. You got to release that. So just the power of having Domily in that space, who is a woman of God, a God-fearing woman, and who knew that there was something else that was needed, and had the power of pulling you to the side and praying. And then you were able to make a decision, move forward, and then give us the rest.
So, and you know, it was something, because when she prayed with me, I can remember, because I stayed in the hotel that night, and I can remember, and you had invited us to your presidential suite. And I'm upstairs. I went upstairs, and my husband was there. He had accompanied me to that event that day, and I'm pacing the floor, because and I know it was nobody but the Holy Spirit telling me, go up there and knock on her door and tell her that you need help. But I didn't do that. So the very next day, like I said, when I saw Dom, she pulled me to the side, and we're praying, and I go back and I speak to my husband, and I say to him, listen, and I'm crying. I said, listen, I need a change. And he said to me, didn't that lady say that playtime is over?
Now, you know when your husband starts speaking up, right?
Yes. And so I knew that, okay, he said, listen, I got your back. Whatever you need to do, you do it, because this is your time. So shaking in my boots, I went on and I signed up for the Rock Your Stage makeover program. And I'm telling you, that program changed my life. Now, don't get me wrong, because I know who my Savior is. I know who my Father is. And I know that He saved me, but your program really saved me, because I was so deep in shame. Like I said at the time, I didn't realize it until we had our one-on-one, and you listened to my whole story. And you said, yeah, you're in hiding and you've been in isolation, but shame is your thing. And so I want people to understand that shame can come in two different ways. Self-inflicted shame, meaning I had a child at the age of 15, so I had so much shame about that, and then hurt from other individuals, and so now I'm wearing somebody else's shame. And let me just stop right there, because when you said to me, it's time for you to release the shame of somebody else, that's not your shame. Stop wearing other people's shame. It was something that began to birth in me, because what I didn't realize that the Holy Spirit told me is that the shame had begun taking up residency within me. So because the shame was taking up residency within me, and I'm a Christian, God said, well, how's shame going to take up residency within you? You're a Christian, but the Holy Spirit lives within me. And I said, wait a minute. So then they begin to wrestle against each other. And God said, this can't happen, and God gonna win.
Right.
He's gonna win. So it wasn't until I had to remove the shame. God said, I'm gonna release the shame. And so He released the shame. And just because He released it doesn't mean that they don't stick His head back out. And people need to understand that as well, is that because just because you're released, it doesn't mean that it doesn't come back. But you have to know your triggers. So I'm just so thankful that God spoke to me and said, okay, now it's time to release the shame, because you can't stay in this place, because if you stay here in this place, then you can't grow. You can't do what I have assigned you to do.
Absolutely.
And I really believe in my heart that God assigned you to me. And I'll never forget when we had the calls, on the Rock Your Stage calls, and you asked this one question. You said, listen, I just want to know, it was on our second call, you said, I want to ask everyone, why did you join the Rock Your Stage program? Why are you here? And I let everybody go, as I always normally do, and I went last. And I said to you, I said, well, I'm at a place where I'm in a pit, and that pit was so dark. I was in this dark hole, and I felt that Rock Your Stage, I needed that to pull me out of that hole. So let me speak to some lady right now. If you are in a place where you are in so much shame and you're in a deep hole where you can't get out, find a coach, find a counselor, find help. Pray to the Lord, fall to your knees, because that's what I had to do. Because that dark place, it wasn't in a healthy place. And I'm going to be honest, had I not joined Rock Your Stage, like I said, I know who my father is, but had I not joined Rock Your Stage, I'm telling you, I don't know if I would be here. So Rock Your Stage, it really saved my life.
Whew. Well, I didn't expect all of that, but I do know that God will bring us what we need at the right time. And I know that you are a changed woman, because I remember how much you were in hiding. I remember very vividly, you were so quiet, you were protective. And I remember, again, like several of my clients who work with me, you did not want to tell the real truth. Like you wasn't ready for, and I don't force anybody to tell what they don't want to share, because you have to be ready for that. And you have to be ready for what may come as a result of you speaking your truth. And so for a long time, we went through this whole, okay, I hear you, but I don't feel you. Y'all know that's what I tell you. If I hear, but there's a difference when you feel somebody's truth and feel their story and that energy that comes from that. Like that's when it's coming from your core. Like that's the story you're supposed to, and you always, it's a different energy. And so I remember the day we were in the room, I think with several of the Rock Your Stage, and so I said, you know what, well, can you share? Are you willing to share what the real truth is? And then let everybody else get, because I'm like, look, I don't want you to just hear my voice, because sometimes people just hear one voice. You got to hear more than one voice sometimes, right? So I felt like that was a safe space. And I remember everybody was like, no, that's the story, that's the story. So do you want to share what that story is? So we talked about the shame of talk about some of the shame that you are wearing, your shame and other people's shame. And then I want you to give us some takeaways of how we can move beyond that. What are some of the things that you're teaching? Because I know you're now a teacher, speaker, trainer, facilitator, and all that. So talk to us about what were some of the compiling shames that you were wearing, and then what was your process for coming into a space of really moving beyond that?
So, like I said, so at the age of 14, I had become pregnant. And so I was wearing a lot of shame that I didn't realize. And then, I was molested at the age of 12, by my uncle. And I didn't realize that the shame had been so deep. And I just continue to grow and grow and grow. And then, so that shame, again, upon shame, and you have, the shame is just living within me. And then when you have so much shame living within you, it brings on self-doubt. It brings on depression. It brings on, I'm not enough. And then, as the years go on, and now, I'm 38 and I'm married at this time. And, my husband had made a decision that, cost him his career. And it just, brought a lot of shame to our family. And so I began to wear his shame. So that's what I mean by, I self-inflicted shame with the baby, with getting pregnant at such a young age. But then holding on and carrying his shame, and his story is not my story for me to tell. But I had to release it, because I'm telling you, I don't want another woman to be able to live in the shame, the place where I was. I'm telling you, it just wasn't good. And so the place where I was, I just knew that I needed to be in a place, be around someone like yourself. And so, I'm just so thankful that you were able to help me realize and recognize that it's time for you to realize what the shame is. It's time for you to stop wearing other people's shame. It's time to you forgive yourself, forgive the people who've hurt you. And I have, I've forgiven myself, I've forgiven my husband, because regardless of what hey, that's my ride or die. He's still right there with me, because we all make mistakes. And I'm only here, by God's grace. So I'm just so thankful again that I'm able to release that shame. And how you do that, I call it my treasure of hope moments. And if you sign up for my, if you go to my website, you'll see I wrote a guide, and it's called 7 Steps to Releasing Your Shame and Awakening Your Happiness. And so when I talk about the treasure of hope moments is where I had to find something else to replace that shame, because I just wasn't living. Like, I was truly dead inside. So I'm in a season right now of rebirth and rebuilding. And what I mean by rebirthing is because everything in me was dead. Everything, every part of my being was dead. But so now God is, I'm still in the rebirthing season. And it's just like a flower. How a flower was dead, but now you water it and you keep putting soil in it, and it's growing. And I'm in that rebirthing season of my life, and I am ever so grateful, ever so grateful. And I just keep hearing you in my ear sometimes. Show up, show up, show up.
And you've been showing up, because I've been seeing you all over the place, Miss Global, Miss International. Every time I look up, she's at an event, and I love it. I love that you are stretching yourself. Yes. Robin talked about this, about expanding your circle and not feeling like you have to keep it to just the people that have always known you. And because sometimes you've outgrown those people, and sometimes your next season and your vision has outgrown those individuals, and you've got to get around another group of people who are able to help you to birth that vision and to move forward to the next season. You know, they say some people sometimes are there for what, a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And you have to be okay that, okay, we can still connect and we can still be cordial and we can still be associates, but my inner circle gotta be tight. Like, it gotta be on point. Like, I tell everybody, you go where you celebrate it, not tolerate it. If I ever come into your space and I don't feel celebrated, I will never be back again. Why? Because I deserve better. I deserve more. And I'm always going to put myself into spaces where people are like, shine, sister, shine. Like, if you make me feel like I got to dim down because you uncomfortable, never. You got one time to make me feel that way, and I'll never be in that space again. And I take that very, very seriously, because I got work to do in the world. I got lives to change, lives to impact. And when you are commissioned with that type of work, and the work that you're doing, and the work that Robin's doing, and so many other amazing women that I'm connected with, like, you've got to be protective of your energy. And that energy, that negative energy will just, I mean, it will drain you dry, where you don't even have any more of you to give to the people in the world who are waiting for you. So I know when I go out into the world, I miss motivation, right? I got to be pumped and fired up and hyped up, because that's what people expect, right? Because that's who I am. That's my brand. So I can't be depressed. I can't be down. I can't be worrying about the emotions of what's going on in our relationship or whatever might have happened because you crazy acting cray. So I just make sure, and I've learned to release. That's what we talk about. I've learned to release relationships that I thought were going to be around for a long time, but no longer serve me where God was taking me. And I just am willing to release. So I love that.
So let me just speak on the treasure of hope part, because with like I said, you can't stay in the same place. And with the treasure of hope, what I did was I started doing things that was really fueling my happiness. And so I told my husband, I never forgot, I said to him, I want to go to the zoo, because I didn't remember. I think so much had happened in my childhood and as I was growing up that a lot of things I had forgot. And so I said to him, just take me to the zoo. And you know, because I want to start over new memories. And he took me to the zoo last year. Took me to the zoo. It was wonderful. So that was one of my treasure of hope moments, and you'll see that in the 7 steps, you know, to releasing your shame guide. And then I also, you know, I started walking and you know, so it's just the happy things. I started riding a bike. You know,
I remember seeing that on social media.
So those are my treasure of hope. So I just want women to create your own treasure of hope moments so that you can have new memories.
So be protective of your inner circle. Start creating these new moments so that you can create new memories. What else? Are there any maybe 2 or 3 other things that you can share of how a woman who might be going through that right now, through this space of shame and wearing her shame and other people's shame, how does she move forward? How does she birth that renewed confidence, self-esteem, self-love, awareness that she is enough, and that what she did in the past or what happened in the past doesn't define who she is?
Honestly, I know for me, and I really hope this helps other people, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. So I honestly had, after we had our talk, I really had to get serious with myself. I had to have a truth talk with myself and say, Amy, listen, you gotta do something, because if you don't, you're going to continue to stay here. So acknowledge that there's a problem. Acknowledge what it is. And when you acknowledge it, then you'll begin to heal. Because I can remember when one Saturday morning I had asked God to resuscitate me. I said, God, I need you to do CPR on me.
Oh, that's so good.
Because like I said, everything within me was dead. So I needed God to resuscitate me and give me CPR, because I wasn't living. When you talk about not living and truly just existing, my God, that was me. I would get up Monday through Friday to go to work barely, but I would make myself go there. But I could remember distinctly, I said to God, God, I need you to give me CPR because I am being suffocated alive. But I'm no longer suffocated alive. So for those of you who are listening, you're trying to understand, how do I transition? You really have to acknowledge what it is. And for me, like I said, it was seeking out a coach. I didn't even know I needed a coach until I had a coach. So again, it's that you don't know what you need until you get it. That's how I feel sometimes. And so I talk about the unhealthy truth about shame. One of them, because the unhealthy truth about shame is the emotional shame that I endured, the spiritual shame, and that was I talked about the shame being deep inside of me, and then but also the social shame. I had to get out and begin to network, like you said. I had to get out. You kept talking about me hiding behind that laptop. I had to come from behind the laptop because it was, shame was truly eating me up alive. But again, but the first step was planting my feet on the floor, getting out that house and moving. When the first speaker came on, and she talked about just getting up, moving. Yeah, that was so big for me because just getting up, putting your feet on the floor, moving. I had to do it. I wasn't even doing that. So that's another way of how you can transition from your shame.
And I think also, it's important that we give ourselves permission to see ourselves in a new light. Sometimes, we're so stuck in seeing ourselves as we were, and we bash ourselves and we diminish our own value because of what we experienced, what we went through, bad decisions that we made, shame of things that happened that sometimes we didn't even control. And it's about standing literally on the power of what you've been through. Like not feeling like you have to be, again, a victim to it, but you can be a victor over it by, number one, speaking up and sharing it. So sharing your story is one of the things that frees you. It frees you and it frees other people. So are you willing to experience freedom? Are you ready? Are you willing? Do you really want the freedom? Then you got to start opening your mouth and you got to start talking about it, because that is a part of the healing process. It is. And then knowing that you don't need the validation from anybody else. Like, stop looking at other people to nod their head that it's okay, you should do it, you should. Look, it ain't their business. It's your journey, it's your life, and you have to give yourself that validation that you need. And I think that comes partially through your inner circle, but also through prayer, which you talked a lot about. Like, are you praying for the strength, for the renewed energy? Because all of us have been through that time frame where we felt like we were in our lowest. You know that time where you like in the corner, balled up, crying? Like, we all have been through something that has taken us there. How do you get up out of that? It's typically the power of prayer and the people who are surrounded about you who are not going to let you stay down. They're like, no, you got to get up. You okay, you ain't take a shower? Well, we get up out of here today anyway.
That's critical.
We're going somewhere, right?
That's critical.
So making sure that you don't isolate yourself when you're in those dark moments, because that's the first thing we do. When we're in a dark moment, we isolate, we withdraw.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody don't see us. No, except for we go to work, come home. That's it. We don't talk to our friends. So you've got to come out of that space of isolation and allow, again, God to work through the people who are divinely connected to you to help you get through your healing. What else do you want to say about that? Because you like,
I mean, I'm telling you, the isolation is real. I'm telling you, I isolated everything, everybody, and I didn't even, I would stop taking calls. Like you said, stop going out. That isolation was just so, that was huge. But I'm so glad because it leaves you just all to yourself, but it's so not good. It's unhealthy. So
what's your ultimate vision as we kind of wrap this segment up? What's your ultimate mission, your ultimate vision as the shame eliminator? How are you going to impact the world with what you've been through and what you've overcome and what you're still, as you said, are in this rebirth phase?
Well, I definitely, today is truly a huge step for me. To come here and sit at your table, because this is your table. And I can remember posting a post about stop letting shame sit at my table. Because for so long I allowed shame to sit at my table. And when shame sit at your table, that's self-doubt. And honestly, last week and even a few days leading up to this, shame didn't want me to sit here at your table. It was like I was trying to figure out, how can I get out of this? But no, you have to do this because the women need to hear from you. So ladies, stop letting shame sit at your table. No, because if shame is sitting at your table, then that means, do you ever break bread with your enemies? No, shame is your enemy. And so I said, no, Shame, you got to go. So I had to really talk to it.
Yes.
And so I'm just so thankful that to be here at your table, because the self-doubt was telling me, how dare I come and sit at her table? You know, in a space with Cheryl Wood or any other people out there who may want me on their radio station to share about shame. I felt, no, I'm not good enough, but God said, no, you are.
Absolutely.
There's a lot you have to share. So that's huge for me. I deserve to sit at this here table, because this is your table and I deserve to be here.
Yes.
And I'm just so thankful. I don't take it for granted. Yes. This Impact Radio for me is not just, oh, I'm just on the radio. No. I came here, I sat at a table, and I had something to share.
Yes.
Because when the doors open, when God opened the door, the key is, are you going to walk through it, but do you have something to offer?
Yes.
So I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful to be here.
Absolutely.
So grateful.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen you grow, and I remember, y'all don't understand how powerful this moment is. Like, if you knew this Amy a couple years ago, like, you would understand the deepness of this moment, because this woman would barely open her mouth. Like, and she would never come to the forefront. She would never come on a radio show. She would never have this much to say. And then we got to shout out Andrea Martin, who had you as a speaker. Andrea is another one of my clients who went through Rock Your Stage, and she had her first conference last year and had Amy as a speaker. Hunty, Amy shut the place down, literally, with her story and her powerful message. And you were just authentically Amy. You were authentically you. And that's the beauty of walking in your divine assignment and your divine calling. You ain't got to pretend to be nobody else. Like, you are enough just as you are. And all of your truth, all of your rawness, all of your authenticity, all of your transparency, it's going to bless somebody. And so I love seeing you in that space. And we had that embrace. I think we embraced for like 10 minutes after you got off the stage, because it was just like, oh my God, yes, this is what's in you. Like, this is what God is trying to pull out. Because he knows some women that need that message. So what is going to happen for Amy, let's say in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years? What are you going to be doing?
Well, I'll be speaking this weekend at Sweatpants and Chill retreat.
Yes, Latasha Briscoe.
With
Latasha Briscoe. Sweatpants and Chill conference. Yes,
I'll be there. And then I'm being honored as a superhero, for just overcoming some of the hard things that I've been through this year with the fractured neck and just being, a lot of my illnesses I had this year since November. But I still, was able to push through all of that and host my first event, the release, in February. And I thank God for that, because my AP Andrea, she was there, she helped me, she guided me. I mean, you're talking about meeting people through you, because again, through Rock Your Stage, I met Andrea, and she has been a wonderful, wonderful AP. Dabika is my AP.
And by the way, AP means accountability partner. So a lot of the women who are in the groups, one of the things this is the first thing that we do on the first session of any program I do, is you are required to pick up the phone, and you're required to call 2 to 3 other people in the group. And you're required to rotate that so that you get to know each other and you become each other's community. Because what happens is, okay, I service a group, and it's great, we're going to have a relationship, but now I'm moving on to the next group, because God has taken me global, right? I'm going to Africa in just a couple weeks, right? So he's taking me all these places, so I can't always be there. So my thought is, you got to build your tribe while you're in this community. And I'm telling you, these sisters have taken this thing to the next level. They're speaking at each other's conferences. They're the sales team and the support team at each other's conferences. Like, it is powerful. So I love
and I'll be speaking at Robin's conference, the whole woman. I'm just so excited. Oh my goodness. So I'm just thankful for the Lord, for where he's taken me. And I want to I'm going to be teaching in this workshop, The Unhealthy Truth About Shame. So I'll be doing workshops with that.
Beautiful. So you're just basically allowing God to walk you through the rebirth. And we are just thrilled to watch it, to witness it, to lay our eyes on it as it unfolds.
Thank you.
Keep up the amazing work. Keep being dynamic. And as I always share with every person who is kind of in their rebirth or their startup phase, it's like, don't despise small beginnings. Because you share this story, and it could be 2 people that needed it. It could be 10 people. It could be 20 people. Whatever it doesn't matter. It's not the quantity. It is the power of the message that you are sharing. So keep sharing it. Keep doing the Facebook Lives. Keep speaking at the conferences, and making sure that people hear this message, because it is powerful and it's going to change lives. It's going to impact the world. So how do people connect with you?
People can connect with me on all social media at Amy T Inspires.
I love it.
At Amy T Inspires.
She got a website.
Yes,
she got a public figure page. You know,
yes,
she's speaking
yes.
and all. All right, well, you've heard it here. The Shame Eliminator, Miss Amy Taylor. Make sure you connect with her on social media and connect with her through her website. And hopefully we'll see you at some of the events around the DMV where she's going to be speaking and sharing her story. Shouting out all the folks who are joining us here through Facebook Live. Joy Terrell says, your story is always for someone else.
Yes.
Andrea, your AP is here.
Hey.
I love my sisters, Cheryl, Robin, Amy, and Janice.
Yes.
Let's see. Robin says, Andrea is amazing. Love my Rock Your Stage sister friends. Ladrine is here. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Joyce Spears says, yes, you deserve it. Tammy Turner says, yep, there is power in validating and forgiving yourself.
Yes.
And the list goes on and on and on.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with our final guest, Lady Doris Carlton.
Woo!
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over.
Hey, I mean, has it been a show on fire or what? Now, see, why people always trying to call me in the middle of a show? That's what I want to know. You should be watching the show. That's what you should be doing, watching the show from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. All right, so I'm here with my final guest for today, Lady Doris Carlton. And she is a native of Washington, D.C., and a Suitland High School graduate who's been married to Dr. Chad Carlton for 20 years. She's the mother of 3, her son Dylan, and just found out, you guys know I'm a twin, right? Twin powers, me and Cherie. But she has twin girls, Drew and Denver. And I think they're 10 minutes apart, she says. So she and her husband founded Healing H2O Church in Dulles, Virginia in 2006. And they're launching a second location next month in Suitland, Maryland at Drew Freeman Middle School. Lady Doris, is the senior executive pastor for Healing H2O. Annually, she travels to the Dominican Republic to feed and clothe children for the Carol's Love mission in memory of her aunt who passed away in 2014. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so great to meet you, so great to connect. I'm reading about all this great stuff that you're doing in the world. Tell me about the start of Healing H2O Church and what made that happen. How did that come about?
Well, let me make it short and sweet. God called us at a very difficult time in our lives. Both of us were jobless.
Wow.
We were out in the Loudoun County area, and we had friends pulling on us, telling us to start a Bible study. My husband was an ordained minister, and so we started a Bible study. A year later, the Lord called us to plant a ministry. In an area that's very affluent. There aren't many Pentecostal ministries, and we were told would never make it.
Wow.
And so this month we're celebrating 12 years of ministry.
Wow, fantastic. Won't God do it? You know, that's one of the hashtag, y'all, hashtag won't he do it? Because when he gives you that vision, he will give you the provision for you to execute. I love it. So talk to us about how you started, meaning what were the kind of the numbers and how have you grown? And because now you're opening up a second location. So tell us all about that excitement and how you kind of drew people in to become a part of the congregation and all of that.
Well, my testimony is that God really has done it. Yeah. Won't he do it? God has done it. And I can go back as far as the day that we had no resources. We were at a very down time in our lives. Both of us were jobless. I had a very good job at America Online, which is out in that area, and was laid off. My husband had a very prominent job at the University of Maryland. When you get called to entrepreneurship, it's kind of like God will get you fired. So that's kind of our story. And so I had pretty much quit my job to stay home with my son. And right at that time, my husband was actually fired from a very prominent job.
Our story is so much alike.
And what's interesting is that it wasn't his fault, but as he sat in the meeting with those accusing him, his testimony is that the Lord spoke to him so clearly and said, do not defend yourself, don't say a word.
Wow.
And so it was in that time, shortly after, that the Lord called us to ministry. And I'll never forget, he went out one Saturday morning, he said, I'll be back. And for us, we're both only children, we're both super spoiled. We both like BFFs. And so for him to, as I look back, for him to like even say I'm going someplace but not tell me where was really odd for us. But that Saturday morning, my husband looked at me and he said, I'm going out, I'll be back. And I didn't even ask, like, where are you going? And it wasn't until he came back that he told me that he went out looking for a place for us to hold service. And the Route 28 corridor is a very prominent route in Loudoun County. And so he said the Lord led him to a number of different places, one of which was the Dulles Hilton Hotel. And the Dulles Hilton Hotel is one of the nicer hotels in our area. So he said when God led him there, he's like, well, what about the Holiday Inn? You know, sure, you mean Holiday Inn. You know how you're debating with God. So he said he went to the Dulles Hilton Hotel, and when he stepped in the lobby, a woman met him by the name of Monica Hobby. I will never forget her. And he explained to her that the Lord had called him to plant a ministry, that he had no resources, and wanted to know if he could have space. And what was so God-like is that she looked at him and said, we just had a meeting today on how we could get more churches into our facility. And so to make a long story very short about the inception of our ministry, she pretty much told him to name his price. And so we started our first service, because my husband was born and raised in D.C., and our home church was the New Bethel Church of God in Christ, where literally his mom carried him there. We started with a whole lot of people coming to our first service. We had like 200 people, and I was like, yay!
Right.
So after service, I remember my husband looked at me, he said, now the telltale sign will be who's here next Sunday.
Right.
But God really has kept us, and he's provided. I mean, we've never gone lacking. We've always had people. Within the first 3 months, we started in a very small room, and within the first 3 months, we needed a ballroom, which then turned into 2 ballrooms.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the day when my husband looked at me and he said, the Lord said, drop the wall. And we were in one ballroom that wasn't full. And I remember having one of those moments like, drop the wall for what? Like, we need to fill this up first, you know? And we dropped the wall that day, and about 15 minutes after dropping the wall, it was God that we had someone who came with about 15 people that was from a Hispanic church, said the Lord had led them to our church.
Wow.
So God has truly just provided in every sense of we've trusted him. It's definitely been a faith walk, but I can say that he hasn't disappointed. And what's interesting about me being a first lady is that I didn't grow up in church. I was Catholic, so it's not really like church now that I'm part of. And I remember telling God, I can't go to a church where it's just me and my child and my husband. And that's not to say that, you know, there's anything against small ministry, but I need people. I love people. I want to see the fruit of our labor. And God has definitely provided in that we're expanding and we're coming to Suitland.
I love it. That's such a powerful story. I gotta say, Sanita says, amazing. Thank you for joining us. Shelton Jones is watching. Noah, which I can never pronounce your name. You're with us every week, but thank you for being here. Says she also just came back from the Dominican Republic and Haiti, as well as Puerto Rico, doing ministry work. She'd love to connect. Cherise Hunt says Pastor Chad and Lady
my
Doris
BFF.
are true blessings. Joyce says, won't he do it? Cherise says, won't he do it? Alice Nixon, won't he do it? So they're just loving the message, and I'm just loving the story. Like, it gives me goosebumps, because one of the things that, for me, what I wrote down here was divine orchestration will beat logic every time.
Yes.
Because logically in your mind, you're thinking, first of all, your husband is thinking, okay, we have no job, we have no resources, but we're going to where? You want me to go where, God?
To the nicest hotel in the area.
Hotel, right. And with no resources, and then they say, name you a price? Like, literally, divine orchestration will beat it every time. It will beat logic. And so I love that. I love that story of kind of just the faith walk and the belief. Yes. But talk about, have there been times, even during, let's say things started to move, right? But have there been challenges that you faced along the way, and how do you regroup from, and I'm talking about challenges that you don't see coming, like you don't expect, and you're like, whoa, maybe you're blindsided by it. How do you pick yourself back up from those challenges to keep forging ahead?
That's a great segue for challenges, because for me, some of the challenges have been death. And so as a believer, in my immaturity, I thought that, oh, well, if you live right and you do all the right things and you're prayed up, then when someone gets ill and you pray for them, surely God's going to heal them. And so it was in those probably instances where being a first lady, being so in love with those who attend our ministry, that the first death that probably rocked me was the death of one of our deaconess, who was Sandra Bonner. And she was like a sister to me. Her husband and I have known each other since I was 12, and he's like my big brother. He gave me away at my wedding. And so Sandra, this beautiful person who you couldn't ask for a better church member, always there, always committed, never negative, always positive, always uplifting, came down with breast cancer, and within no time was dead. And I remember being healing waters. We've seen God wrought healing many times. God has done so many miraculous things, but I remember being really upset with God, like, why couldn't you have healed? If anybody deserved healing, surely she did. So that was a really pivotal point for me, even in my faith, where I had to examine what it was I truly believed. Because up until that point, I was really immature in my thinking. I fell into depression. I remember thinking, why do anything? And the Lord really had to convict me to the point that just because you're doing all the right things doesn't mean that I'm going to grant you all your requests. And when the Word talks about my ways are not your ways, that was one of those moments for me where I was like, okay, Lord, I had to surrender. And that experience prepared me for Carol's Love, which was my aunt then 4 years later who died of cancer, who for a year I prayed for healing and wasn't healed. And so what came about then, which is just a great segue in Carol's Love, is that the Lord has really pressed upon me in those moments. It's not for us to get depressed. It's not for us to take shield, or even to, as the former people were talking about, we can sometimes think too much of ourselves. But at that moment is when the Lord really called me to go be what my aunt was, to children who don't have clothes, who don't have shoes, who don't have clean drinking water. And so it was at that moment that the Lord called me to Carol's Love, which is a part of our Life Jacket nonprofit, and it's our international arm. And so every year I go and I feed children. Last year we fed 1,000 kids. My goal was 500. This year we're going to feed 1,000 kids, but I'm praying it's going to be even more.
Exactly.
So just, that's kind of my testimony, is just in my maturity now, and not to say that nothing can get to me, that I've tried to really take the bad things, the things that are most difficult, and try to bring light to it. I believe that's what really our mission is with being saved and being believers, is that God wants us to shine light, especially in darkness.
I love that. You just said so many powerful things, and I know all of you who are watching online at voxwave.com as well as on Facebook that you are just being blessed. My soul is being blessed. I'm loving everything that you're saying. I'm loving how you you took onus of the fact that you were immature and you had to reevaluate things internally and why you were feeling the way you were feeling and having these debates with God. And I love how you also allow yourself to have an open mind, open heart about him shifting your mindset about death and about the fact that not everybody's going to get healed, and just because you pray for it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Right. And then I love that you said that you were called to be what your aunt was through Carol's love. Like, that's so powerful, and that he was equipping you well before her passing to be able to prepare you to be able to handle that and then pick up the torch and take the work and continue the work. So just powerful, 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 powerful. So my question to you then is, so what do you do to stay positive consistently, even when there is sometimes negativity or there's toxic things happening around you? What do you personally do? Is it listen to a CD? Is it listen to gospel music? Is it read a book? What do you do? And then I want to talk a little bit about the importance of, you're doing all these amazing things. You got kids, you're doing the ministry, you're doing Carol's Love. How do you take time to nurture your marriage? And how do you make time for self-care?
That's a lot.
I know, right? You're like, girl, we only got 10 minutes.
Where do I start? Well, I think one of the things that definitely evolved for me over the 12 years in ministry, been married 20 years, is that up until starting the church, me and my husband really never argued. And it wasn't until we got into ministry, both of us full-time ministers, pastoring, that we began to see ourselves in a different light. Doing a lot of arguing, a lot of, and I finally had to take a step back and say, wait a minute, we're on the same team. But what I learned is that, and my husband kind of taught me this, being a life coach and having the wisdom that he has, we had to set parameters. And so literally when it first started, my husband would say, okay, it's Monday. Monday is my day off. We don't talk about church at all. And I remember there were times on Mondays that I needed questions answered, and I would be so upset with him. And I'd be like, well, can you just tell me, should I pay this or should I not pay this, or how do we? And he'd be like, I told you it's Monday. And I can remember just being infuriated with him, like, are you kidding me? Like, you're going to make me wait till tomorrow? Right. But what has happened over the years is that really has helped us by setting the parameters. My husband went through a disease that he almost died. And so that was a turning point for us for setting the parameters, because up until that point, the church was everything. I mean, we were there, we were sold out, we were eating, breathing church. I mean, somebody could call at 2 a.m. and say their mom had just been rushed to the hospital, my husband was there. And so we had no limits. We were just all out. And what we found is that we were no good to each other. We were no good to our children. And really that our first ministry is ourselves, our family.
See, you better say it. Your first, y'all hear me say it all the time. Your first ministry is home. Before you take that up, you cannot be a public success, but you a private failure, because you're not taking care of ministry at home. Okay, go ahead.
And so there, there were things that we look back on that were just so silly that we did. My husband not taking anything from the ministry because he wanted the ministry to be blessed, but yet we had no resources. I'm thinking, how am I going to feed my children? And just really silly. I heard Joel Osteen say something once, and it really blessed me. And he said that they were at a point in their lives where they were really struggling. His dad was a pastoring, of course, and they had a great church. And a minister came in who stayed in their home. Back then, they, host the minister in their home. And the minister stayed in the home, and he said he'd never forget this minister at the time after service where he had ministered, looked at his dad and said, I'm giving you $1,000. I want you to have this $1,000. It's not for the ministry. I'm not making it out for the ministry. I want you to take this $1,000. And he said he'll never forget looking and his dad feeling like he couldn't take it, and his dad immediately took it but put it in the offering basket. And so that spoke to me, because we lived a life, many years of doing that. And not to say that that's not good to do, but we weren't living. We weren't living. We weren't enjoying life. And so, and we thought that, if we live or if we do stuff, then somehow people are going to think less of us, or we're not truly saved and we're not truly pastoring. And so the near-death experience with my husband really was a turning point for us, where we had to self-examine and do some self-reflection, and some stuff that we did was just silly. It was just dumb, and so that's kind of how now it brings me great joy with First Ladies Rock, being able to talk to First Ladies, those who are older than me and even younger than me, and us being able to share, because some stuff we do, like, why did you do that? Why if you need money, if someone's giving you $1,000, why would you put it in the offering basket? Just thinking that's going to make us look better. And so now one of the things that we do is we travel a lot. At least once a quarter we do, my husband calls it me, we, us. So once a quarter we definitely take a vacation. It's just us. Having twins, having 3 kids, it's like, you know, we're both only children. So for me, it was like running a marathon. It still is.
Yes.
But just really setting a precedent that we're going to take time to love on one another, show each other how much we mean to each other, and even the family. You know, it's good to have family vacation, but it's also good to have private vacation.
Yes.
So that's just some of the things that we do.
I love that. I mean, again, so many points I don't need to reemphasize because you guys are getting it because you're loving on Lady Doris here through Facebook. I know that you're enjoying the conversation. We're going to start wrapping things up. Before we continue, just based on the conversation that we were having about some of the experiences of those who made their transition, I want to give a huge shout out to Oriana Griffin. If you guys follow her on Facebook, you know that her husband, Thomas Griffin, passed just a couple of days ago. And the love of her life, her soulmate, she has been, when I say a warrior wife, like I've never, ever seen before over the past, 10 years since he was first diagnosed with kidney disease, kidney failure, and lupus, and so many other things. And this man was one of the, I mean, I've never seen anybody fight like he fought. And so we sing you our love, Oriana. If someone would tag Oriana Griffin, we send our love to you. We send our love to your family. When I say they have a tribe of support, I honored Oriana year before last at the Playtime is Over conference, and she was able to come here from California because her family came and took care of Thomas while she came here. Like, that's the type of support they have. Her sister, I don't know how many of you know this, and hopefully this is okay for me to share, but her sister actually gave Thomas her kidney years ago, and he had about 6 years of really good health and then started to take a decline. So that family is a very, 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 very solid, strong family of warriors. We love you. We're praying for you. We also want to send out love to 2 women who are in the fight of their lives. One is Mahogany Williams Moss, who I think has 1 final chemo treatment or radiation treatment left. We love you. She is my makeup artist who has been there for me for the past number of years. My go-to person. I love you dearly. And then more recently, Bonita Parker, who is sharing her journey on Facebook as well. Just want to send you our love and our prayers and healing for your body. Yes. So with that, you're doing so many amazing things. The founder of First Ladies Rock, you're doing Carol's Love. And so my final question is, so how do you make a little time for you? Like, what's your fun thing that you do, or your me time, alone time? Hey, this is me re-energizing and regrouping.
Well, several things. You said one thing.
It can be more than one.
It can be more than one.
I love it if you got more than one. I'm gonna take some notes.
So I do my Monday night bubble baths.
And
that might seem simple, but you know, having a big old tub that you look at and you don't use, so many people don't use it. Well, I make sure that on Mondays I use my bubble bath.
I love it.
So I call it my Monday night bubble bath routine.
And nobody can knock on the door. Mommy.
Though, I have that quite often. I try to wait till everyone's asleep.
Right.
So that I don't get that. But then I have my son who's 15. If I stay in too long, I get the knocks like, are you okay in there?
Right.
Really? So if I spend too much time, so I do that, and I love going to the gym. I love yoga now. That's like my newfound thing.
That's what Janice was talking about.
I do a yoga surrender class, and if I don't get it, I can feel it.
That's the thing.
Where it just really helps me.
I love that. Yeah. You're right. And today I am fiending to get to the gym because I went Sunday, but I was supposed to go yesterday and didn't have an opportunity to go. So today I'm like, okay, how can I squeeze this in between the radio show and I got some calls and sessions. I got to pick up the kids when I leave here. Yes. So I've got some calls later tonight. When can I fit this in? It's a 24-hour gym, so I'm thinking maybe I'll do my sessions and then go. But I have, as you guys have heard, recently released 40 pounds.
Awesome.
I have another 60 to go. I just started January the 2nd, and so I've shifted completely how I eat.
Yes.
I'm working out 3 or 4 times a week. I love it. Now my body is craving it.
Awesome.
So I think that's powerful that you do that. But thank you so much. I think we have a caller here. Caller, you are with us on Impact the World Radio. Do you have a question? Hello?
Okay, maybe they thought they were listening to the show. All right, well, we thank so much. We want to thank Lady Doris Carlton for being here with us. We love the work that you're doing. Truly, truly empowering, inspirational, and really makes us stop and analyze how can we serve the world in a bigger way, and how can we make it less about self and more about how we are servant leaders to other people in the community and around the world. And so keep doing the work that you're doing. How can people connect with you, reach out to you, website, social media?
Social media, Facebook is probably the best place because all of my things are there. I'm on Instagram as well, but Darice, D-A-R-I-C-E, Carlton. Also, First Ladies Rock on Facebook and on IG.
Great. And so somebody is asking, yes, how can others contribute to your Dominican Republic mission? And I assume they can connect with you directly.
Yes, and actually my mission is under my Life Jacket arm. So on Facebook, if you go to Life Jacket Inc.
Okay.
But if you friend me, you'll see all the information there.
Yes. Or as we say for all of our guests who come here because they're so amazing, just Google her. She's Google-licious, honey. You'll find her. Lady Doris Carlton, thank you for being in the building. Thanks to all of our guests today who were just phenomenal. We talked about everything, healing, surrendering. We talked about making sure that we're caring for ourselves physically as well as internally. So it's just been a beautiful show. We will see you again here, same time, same place, next Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Impact the World Radio. I'm Cheryl Wood, your host. See you next week.
We have powerful words. We have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work. We're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over.